If you have a large number of quizzes or a question bank, you can check out your question bank by selecting More and Question Bank. Some things to look out for are the number of questions. So here, there's 199 questions. That's quite a bit of questions, but that's about normal. Normal classes have between 200 and 250 courses if they heavily use the quizzes. You might not have any quizzes, and that's just fine. We're going to select categories in Moodle to look at what's going on here. So as you can see, there's a lot of other categories. So there's quite a bit more than just the 199 that we saw in that first category. You can also scroll down and see that there's several pages of categories. This happens if you have imported several questions. So look here, we have multiple versions of categories of exam 3. I'm just going to kind of skip around to see what else is going on here. We have lots of chapter quizzes. Let's skip towards the end, kind of spot checking. Again, here's some other quizzes that were pulled in categories. If you have a large number of quizzes, you can actually work on deleting some of these if you like. Anything that has a 0, you can absolutely delete that category. Here's another one. We can delete that one. But you don't need to go through and do a whole lot of cleanup. If you do the dual import of your course content and your quizzes. This is especially true if you want to convert to new quizzes. Question banks in Moodle work differently than question banks in Canvas. So depending on how you use your question bank will depend on how you want to manage your questions. Generally speaking, with a question bank like this, with 12 pages, and I see lots of duplication, you're going to end up with a lot of duplicate questions if you just do the one backup. So you want to do the 2 backups and a slight trick with your second backup, the one with just the quizzes, which I'll show you shortly. To create a backup of just your course content, no quizzes, we are going to select More and go to Course Reuse. We're going to select Backup. And the easiest way to remove all of the quizzes and the question banks from your backup is to scroll down to here where it says Include Question Bank. We're going to uncheck this. And then we are going to jump to the final step. Once your backup has finished, you will see on this page the size of your backup file. Any file size that is over 500 megabytes will need to be reduced. Typically, you need to save your videos into Panopto. It'll be the date. Your file name here also includes the name of the course. So this is my question bank example course. The date, you can see 2025, 7/15, so that's July 15th, and the time. So I created this at 10:36. There's a slight delay there, so I did a page refresh. This is important because if you upload the exact same backup, so all of these letters and numbers are exactly the same into Canvas, it will be overwritten. So you want to make sure that if you do multiple backups, that there is a slight difference in the name. So this backup that we created, we're going to download, is just the course content. To create a backup of your Moodle course, just the quizzes, we're going to go to More and Course Reuse. And we will select Backup. In creating this backup, we're going to do something slightly different. So rather than jump to final step or change anything here, we are going to select Next. On this page up at the top, you have an option to show type options. So if we show those, you can see that it lists all of the items that are in this course. We want to select None for everything except the quizzes. When I do this up here at the top, you won't see any changes. We will check it when we get below. So we're going to click None for everything. Quizzes, we are going to select All. So what's going to happen is a section is going to be selected and any quizzes that happen to be in it. So we can see that this section has quizzes in it. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom and we're going to click next. And this is another confirmation, so you can double check. So green check marks means that it's included in the backup. X means that it is not. So here again, we have all of our quizzes. We're going to scroll down to the bottom and we're going to perform the backup. Once the backup is completed, you will see a new backup show up, and we have the same date, slightly different time. And you can also see that the size is different. So we are going to download that backup as well. To import my two backups that I created, I'm going to my course in Canvas. I'm going to import existing content. And for this import, I'm going to do the Moodle backup that contains my course content. So that was the one that I did first, the one that has no quizzes. So I made sure that I selected the right timestamp for that one, and I'm going to add that to my import queue. It will be queued up, and I will get notification when it is done. Once this is finished, you'll have issues. There's 20 issues here. I'm going to check this out. And most of it, this is all external tools and announcements, which is expected. You do have to reconnect your external tools. I select home, the course content will come in, and I can see that things are starting to add in here. If I select quizzes, you'll notice that there are just, looks like one quiz came in. This is a feedback in Moodle, came in as a quiz, but all the other quizzes, the test, the homework, all of those did not come in. So that's why we're going to do the second import. Now I'm going to import just the quizzes. So again, I'm going to select import in my Canvas course, and I'm going to select Moodle backup, and I'm going to select the file that had the later timestamp, because I did that one second. This time, under content, I'm going to do select specific content, and I will add that to the import queue. Once the file is uploaded, the import for Canvas is going to pause and give you this button called Select Content. So we are going to select content, and this will list everything that is currently in that backup file. So it's going to have some modules, it's going to have some pages, there'll be some files, and really what we want is the quizzes. Remember that I said that the question banks in Canvas and the question banks in Moodle behave very differently. So you notice that there are 298 categories that were in the Moodle course. Canvas will import each category as an individual question bank. Because we just want the questions that are in the quizzes, we are going to select only the quizzes. Now this will import the quizzes and will not create the question banks, but we don't want to create 298 question banks in Canvas to clean up. But we do want our quizzes and we want the questions. If you do this and you have randomly selected from a specific category, what will happen is all the questions from that category will be pulled into the quiz. So let's pull this in. And again, it's going to queue and we're going to wait for it to load. All right, now that this is loaded, we have some errors on these questions. I'm going to take a look at them. And it looks like there were some possible missing links or images that didn't quite come in. For the most part, you're going to have to check all the images in your course for all of your quizzes and your questions. That's par for course, no matter how you import. And these missing links, we haven't actually found issues, but again, you know your questions better than we do, so perhaps we haven't been looking for the right things. So now I'm going to come over here to quizzes, and you'll see that I now have my units and chapter quizzes and homework, and all of them have come in. So I have 11 questions, and in Canvas, each question comes in worth 1 point, and that is your max grade, and that is for classic quizzes. To see the question banks for classic quizzes in Canvas, you select quizzes, just like we did, and the 3 dots up here at the top is manage question banks. Now, because we did not pull any question banks in, the only question bank we see is that feedback that had come in. So that used the feedback tool in Moodle, and that came in here. But you notice that the 298 question banks, we did not pull them in. But if we look at our quizzes, you can see that there are all the questions in here. These all come in as practice quizzes. You are going to have to go into each quiz and change them, select edit, and change them to a graded quiz. This is another time to figure out your settings and look at your settings that way. And I am going to clear the dates right now. There's a better way to do dates. So now that I've changed this to a graded quiz, when I select quizzes, you will see that it's an assignment quiz. Assignment in Canvas terms is anything that's graded. So these are practice and these are graded. These come in as classic quizzes. If you would like to migrate, you've gone through and compared classic versus new, and you would like to move these to new quizzes, I recommend you review that before you do migrate. But it is easy enough to migrate these to new quizzes. So I'm going to migrate this one. When you migrate, it will not delete your old quiz, so you'll still have your old one there. And the new quizzes are solid black, and the classic quizzes are the outline. When you select this one, you can change your max points here, and we're going to select and build. You'll notice that the questions came right over. Canvas in new quizzes uses item banks, and these item banks have not yet been created. So this process will pull your quizzes over with the questions, but it will not pull in any extra categories or question banks. Once you've decided whether you want to use new quizzes or old quizzes or classic quizzes, then it's a matter of getting your questions into the question bank if you want to use the question bank features that are available in Canvas. So that's it for now. We have all of our quizzes pulled in and we have all of our content. So now I can go through and double check everything to make sure that it is working like I want.